I
So here's a weird control for you. Bananas.
What about bananas?
Bananas as controls.
Are we
So
sticking electrodes in the control in the bananas?
effectively, I saw footage of someone using a system called Mackie Mackie, which is basically, from what I could tell, a specialized Arduino board with crocodile leads, and you can put them on any conductive surface and program an output based on that. So they made a banana piano. So
I think
the
I've
output went
seen
to the
this.
computer. There was an interface that told it what the keys were, and you could play with it. So theoretically, you could make any kind of controller you wanted.
Uh-huh. I like that.
Yes, you throw
Throw
them at
them
the
at the
monitor.
monster.
That
Yeah.
works.
Ugh, me unhappy. Boom.
This boss fight is not. Okay. I hate boss fights.
Okay. The last boss fight I played that didn't make sense was in Deus Ex. Where
Yes,
you're like this superhuman person, and now you're in this boss fight where you've just got to keep shooting the person.
the invisible person. Um, and this won't count towards your pacifism run because you have to kill them. Yeah, the boss fights in Deus Ex were bad. I'm normally a little bit more diplomatic than that, but no, those were bad.
It
Um,
was an interesting choice to put them in, because you can have
I
a
just
boss fight
don't like.
by making it a challenging finale to the level, either with more enemies
I
or
just don't like large. I will stomp you in a couple of hits. You have to just defeat me in a very specific way. Challenges.
it kind of harks
I've
back
spent the
from
entire
to the
time
very
learning
old
how to play the
games.
game, and here's a completely different mechanic you now have no real chance to do. So keep coming back to this.
I remember quite vividly some like R-type games when you got to the level's boss, you would have to wait until a bay opened and revealed a weakness or something along those lines.
Mhm.
And I suppose it's a little bit of a puzzle game.
And in R Type, they covered the entire screen and covered the rest of the screen with projectiles. Like that was when I actually developed my hatred of boss fights.
You will not survive this easily.
Like this isn't what the rest of the game is. Why am I? No, I just want to fly around with my little pod.
Yeah. Oh dear, excuse me. I got a bit of a cough this evening. Still.
I got very frustrated with my first boss fight in Gotham Knights for the first hour, where I just kept dying again and again and again. And the boss is taunting you, right? And he's like, "You think you can succeed?" Like, no, I didn't say that. Eventually, I had to abort the mission entirely and come back with a different loadout. And suddenly, it's peasy.
Yeah.
Kind of wish I'd thought of that beforehand, but it turns out, yes, specializing in cryogenic weapons and so forth on your character is really cool, but not great against freeze.
So I'm trying to think of a game I played recently. It's quite an old game. I can't remember when it was released. It's called Nexus: The Jupiter Incident. It's a sort of
That's a
space.
great title.
Yes,
I
it's
really
got a
hope that it's not
really.
a space game at all.
It
I
is.
really hope
It is.
it's a house flipping game. With a title like that, that would be amazing.
So it's an interesting game, and it's got quite a corny intro. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let it slide. But it's an interesting game because you have no direct control over anything. You're the director of what's going on. And if you
Mm,
make some bad tactical decisions, you will just die. But ultimately, it's like most games. Focus all your fire on one ship. When that ship
yep.
is dead, focus on this one, then that one. And I mean that's been a trope for most not RPGs, most RTSs for years and years and years. You just focus on one and carry on.
I've just had an idea for a game, and I need you to talk me out of this.
Let's do it.
Okay, it's a house flipping game,
Mm,
but
but
it's not like the ones you see on Steam where it's like this 3D Unreal game made with a lot of assets from the asset store. Pretty fun, but go into this wrecked place, clear out the junk, put the new walls in, paint them, sell it. No, no, no. You have a lever
And you have to
and you
flip.
have a house and you have to flip it as far as you can.
A physics game, then. You could set it up so it's just a
So
bit of
here's the question.
RNG. Dong!
If you were making this, and let's say we actually wanted to make it
Yeah.
as a couch co-op party game, right? We're going to try and flip the house the best way, land it in certain things, the furthest distance, the most spins, whatever. What control system would you use?
I would use some sort of accelerometer, like a Wii controller,
Interesting.
and you have to be really physical with it.
I might go with timing and rhythm.
You could have that thing where a bar goes up and down and up and down, and you have to just nail it. Essentially, it then becomes a golf game.
But then I would also want to bring in some sort of lateral movement. So I would want the mouse to move, and then you click at the right point.
And then you'd flip the house. It's interesting, though, the moment we started talking about that, it's like,
use
oh,
bananas.
a different game.
Yep.
You could design a system that works with multiple games.
You know what? A game called House Flipper that's actually effectively a golf game using a house sounds amazing. You could unlock different types of houses.
What? And the clubs.
This one's a Swiss chalet. This one's a 19th century French mansion.
Or you have to hit the house with enough force to send it into the distance, but not enough to completely disintegrate it. And this is how our crazy ideas come together.
And if you're playing one of the American levels, you have to make sure, and by American, I'm counting all of the North American continent, so Canada as well as the US, but not Central and South America in this case. The zoning laws mean that you can't land your house in a commercial district.
Okay, yep. This has gotten too silly now. We're talking about zoning and permits.
You are the worst person for talking me out of games. You know that, right?
Oh, that sounds fun. How can I help?
Oh, let's make that.
Oh, dear.